It's just what we do here. I don't know, man. That 50-year option, we're going to start it off here with Big Z here. Hang on. That's not a good enough intro. No. The man who never lies to Big Sills. I'll tell you something. You want to know what he got? Hey, never. Hey, Mike Miss, all you assholes. Never do you mess with Big Sills and Big Z. Let's bring him on. I'll tell you what, this guy's like Jekyll. I'm going to start calling Zander Jekyll and Hyde. He's got to sit around and go, John, what do you think? Then he comes to me and go, fuck you, Sileo. Let's bring him on here. Big Z, Zander Krause, how you doing?
What's the matter? You want me to treat you like a buttercup?
No. Yeah, that's what I want. How you doing?
So I didn't hear your whole open, but yeah, what are you talking shit on Nick?
I'm not talking shit on Nick. I'm just asking how come it's tough to embrace the guy when one of the most important things in the building is that every single Philadelphia Eagle coach respects Stoutland and Vic Fangio more than they do Nick.
Well, you think they got the same job as Nick?
I asked you, this is why. Okay, here.
Wait. Nick is the head of the snake.
Owner,
Jeff Stoutland's focused on the offensive line. If you're the owner of the team,
who could you live without, Nick or Jeff?
It's different. Jeff Stoutland's an offensive line coach.
But the people
here's a better question.
The people in Philly respect him more.
Would Jeff Stoutland be able to do what Nick does?
No. What does Nick do?
What are you talking about? He's the head coach of the football team.
What does he do?
He doesn't dumb himself down to an offensive coordinator, so you think he does nothing? That's a dumb thing.
What happened in 23 with this great leadership?
Well, what happened in 24 and 22?
He had good coordinators. They all went on to be head coaches.
We're shooting 66% of the field with the team being completely bought
all those guys went on that you had as coordinators went to be head coaches. That's why you had good assistants that Howie hired.
So now you just want us to win with shitty coaches around us? You need good coaches. You need good players. You need a good organization. So that's the same argument as people saying Jalen Hurts has good talent around him. Well, where's Josh Allen's ring?
The most expendable.
Where's Joe Burrow's ring? You need good talent.
Zander's trying to convince you that he thinks that Nick is more important in that organization than these other guys. And
that's not what I said.
Okay, well, I'll make the point again.
He's got unique
is that more people in Philadelphia respect Jeff Stoutland and Vic Fangio and were responsible for the winning of that Super Bowl than Nick? Yes or no?
Push. Push.
I do have something to point out to you, though.
Players are bought in. Wait a second.
Players are bought in.
They're
bought into their checks.
The culture in the locker room is phenomenal. All right.
This is phenomenal.
This has been the best 4 years of Eagles football, maybe in the history of Eagles football. All right. That's not all because of the talent on the football field. He's aggressive.
You're suggesting to me the Eagles, wait.
He's aggressive, and it's given the Eagles an advantage in all 4 of the last seasons.
Wait, do you think the Eagles would be where they were in the last 4 years with or without Nick? Or do you think it's all? You think Nick? How much do you think?
I don't think he's the only reason, but I don't think you can get rid of him and just say you're going to have the same results.
Well, wait a minute here. You won a Super Bowl, and you've always won without this guy.
What do you mean we won without him? We got 2 Super Bowls. He's been one of them. He's the only coach who's taken us to 2 Super Bowls.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, well then why do people in Philly respect Vic and Jeff more?
I don't know if that's true, but it's because because it's a different thing. Remember, Nick Sirianni at times has to fall on the sword. So the general public is going to see more. Nick has a more all-encompassing job. To sit here and say you can compare a position coach or really even a coordinator to what Nick does, I don't think is a fair comp.
I think, quite frankly, that guy, he sits there and is the messenger of what the GM and the owner want conveyed to his team. Players don't play for a guy giving Newt Rockne speeches. They pay because they get. You think people get paid for getting patted on the head? Hey, you know what? Follow the guy into the army and follow him into the war. Hey, what am I getting paid? You're getting paid $25 million? I'm going to run through a wall for you getting $25 million a year, Junior.
So you
Holy
just
cow.
admit that all you want Nick to do is call plays. If you want, that's
No,
what you want.
no,
You want
no.
a head coach
Oh,
who calls plays.
no, that would mean they're 14-12. And I can't have that because when he started calling plays, they were 2-5. And then when he was there with Brian, they were he was actually 13-11. So,
All right,
hey,
so let's look at this. And let me guess, you're going to say this is all the position coaches too. The head of the snake has nothing to do with it, right? How's been the development of the young players Eagles have brought into the organization in the last 4 years?
position coaches.
That's it. The head of the snake deserves no credit for that.
What is the difference between a year ago and this year where you saw Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond and that linebacking core develop? Was it Bobby King or what? What was the difference from 23 to 24? Bobby King's only been an Eagle. This is going on to his second year.
You're still need good position coaches. Absolutely.
No, you asked me why though, what happened? I said those players were developed. Clint Hurtt, did he not elevate the D-line? Yes. Did Bobby King elevate the linebackers? Yeah. And who hired them guys?
Wait a second. So the head of the snake deserves
hired
zero
them.
credit.
What?
The head of the snake deserves zero credit.
No, I think he deserves something. I think he's in there. I go, look, you can't. But to sit there and look at, hey, dude, your linebackers and your D-line got paid because of Clint Hurtt, not the greatness of Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, you know who else has become a sensation, a face of the NFL under Nick Sirianni? You know, when he was hired, Carson Wentz was still supposed to be our quarterback.
Right. So it's funny, every time I go in the NFL shop, they got Shedeur Sanders up there right in front of the NFL MVP in the Super Bowls, pimping his jersey over the greatness of Jalen Hurts.
Wait, where's Josh Allen's jersey up there?
Hey, I'm talking
it's
about
not on the top page.
I'm talking about a 5th round guy.
Hurts is in the top page. Guy hasn't been on the football field in 3 months.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, because you know why? Josh Allen's counting is $60 million. That's what he's doing.
Oh, and Jalen's counting is 52, and he's looking at the bling on his finger, saying,
"Where's that new deal?
MVP, Super Bowl. Come on, man. Come on, Sells."
He's getting ready to go to the View. That's what he's doing. Hey, let me put this on here. If you go back to that 2022 draft, I looked it up. Do you know how many players had their do you know how many players got a contract extension as of right now?
In the 22 draft, that was the Jordan Davis draft. When we
they just picked his 5th year up, right?
That was a crazy draft for us. We drafted Jordan at 13, then we traded for AJ like a couple minutes
later. I'm gonna point something out. There's only one player that got a contract extension. You know who that was? I think that was Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, and he's already underpaid.
I'm going to look at it here, and I think at that 22, because I looked at it on CBS, and CBS put it up there. And in 2022, dude, check it out. If you here it is right here on 50-year options. Look at this. So you go here, the number 1 overall pick, Trayvon Walker, picked up the 5th year. Hutchinson, they picked up the 5th year. Derek Stingley, it's Stingley, not Surtain. 3-year contract extension at 21. If you go
Surtain
down,
was earlier. Surtain, I think, was the Devontae Smith draft, 2020.
No, this is 22, 5th year.
Yeah, no. I think Surtain, though, was drafted in 21. It's Stingley from the 22 class who got the contract. He got it this summer. That's why Surtain got paid last year.
Okay, 5th year tracking for the full list of decisions about no, this is 2022 first-round draft picks.
I'm pretty sure.
Go down. I'm looking at the page right now.
No, I know what you're saying. The only thing I was saying was Surtain was a different year.
Well, they got him. Oh, Surtain was a different year. Yeah,
I'm talking 21. Yeah.
Stingley. Yeah, Stingley got a 3-year contract.
Was the guy. Yeah, Stingley was the guy.
Get this. He's the only guy in this whole class. They either declined or they picked up the 5th year.
Yeah.
And here's why they didn't pick up, because I heard you and John. So I went back and looked at that. Check this out. You know why they didn't pick Linderbaum's contract up?
Yeah, because it's like $24 million.
$24 million.
Yeah.
They wanted more time to negotiate.
But well, I also, it is because they make the whole option thing based on the whole offensive line, and centers don't make that much. So, and because he made so many Pro Bowls or whatever, I think every time you get an accomplishment, it adds a little bit to the option.
It does. It's tiers.
Yeah, his was way juiced up, and it's above what he's going to get more than Creed Humphrey, who I think is like
Right. Well,
19
it
million.
goes like this. It goes all pro, Pro Bowl, and it goes starter. And Jordan Davis is on the starter role. That's why it was 12-9. When you get Pro Bowl and all pro, you're up in that higher deal when it comes to picking up the fifth year. Like when it comes to picking up that fifth year option, like look at Hayden Hutchinson. Hutchinson's at almost $20 million. That's okay. Both these guys, Jordan Davis and him, were defensive linemen. They were drafted in that draft. One guy had a fifth-year option of 1987, and Jordan's just got picked up at 12.93. My point is that that's not that,
Yeah, that wasn't that good of a draft class.
No, but and get this. The Eagles are doing kind of what everyone else is doing in that draft. There's only one guy that really stood out, and that's Derek Stingley.
Yeah, and I think
so. My point is maybe they're really hoping Jordan Davis really does pick up these next 2 years where I think they're going to let him play these 2 years. I think he's going to go and play into his final year next year in 26. When he goes into 26, Zander, he's not going to have an extension. They're going to see he's going to put him into Javon Hargrave. And if he comes out of it, he's going to get his money.
Who?
That's how Jordan Davis. That's how I would do it. If Jordan Davis puts
they're not going to. They're going to make the decision after this season, not after 26.
Yeah, but if he has a good season and that defense is still, and he's rolling around 25% of the plays, and I was the one months and months ago, hey, the less that guy plays, the better that you're showing up when it comes to your run defense. Still, there's a value. And I wrote that down even. What is the value for a player that plays 25 plays a game for you and is not a third down guy? What is that value worth to you? And I think that's the dilemma that the Eagles have. And you know why I think it's a dilemma? I think it's a dilemma because they like the ball player. Okay? They like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the question is how much. We'll
I'm not going north of 14.5.
Well, I think the Eagles would go above that.
Why?
Because that's just what the cap is going to dictate. I mean, that's going to be another $50 million up. They're going to give him a percentage of the cap. You look at the nose tackles. One guy's making 18 or 19. I'm not saying he's worth that, but I'm just saying 14.5. Well, it sounds great. In 2 years, that's not reasonable money for Jordan Davis. It's gonna fall somewhere. I would say
he's not a market value player.
I would say somewhere between 15 and 18 million for him. Maybe 16 million is where it's going to be. It's not going to be 14.5. He's not going to accept 14.5. He'll get more than that on the open market.
I was a market player, a first and second down guy. He's not a market player.
He's going to get more than that.
You're talking about the market going up because the cap's going up. Well, guess what? If his ability and his production doesn't go up, he's not involved in the next guy up. He's not next guy up. Look at him even in the tiers he is now in the option. Right now in the option, he's in the third tier. So when you're talking
between 15 and 18.
Okay, well, right now, he's where he is production-wise on the tiers with his fifth-year option because he's not an $18, $19 million guy. Like a guy that makes a Pro Bowler or whatever. Jordan Davis is never going to make a Pro Bowl playing first and second down. He's not.
No, he's not. He's not.
Now, maybe that, to your point, maybe that does give them latitude to hey, listen, if I was Jordan Davis, ask yourself this as a player. Put yourself in player shoes here. So you say 16. Okay. Eagles come to you and go like this. We'll give you a 3-year contract. And we're going to pay you. Let's use the number I had, 14.5. And you give them more money on a sign-on bonus or guarantees. You give them more on that. And you go like this. Jordan, I'll tell you what we'll do here. If you outplay the contract, the Eagles are not bullshit artists with how they pay guys.
No.
I believe
one of the best things they have going for them.
I don't believe any organization on the planet. I believe that because I see it.
Well, there is some instances too where you don't get paid here. I mean, look at Gardner Johnson, Goedert. I mean, there's some. I'm not saying it's a lot, but there's some.
But I'll tell you what, man. I like the fact that you had 2 years remaining on A.J. Brown's deal, and they went out there and they gave him a contract extension. They redid, but they gave an extra year to Barkley. They gave him more money too. Yeah. I mean, dude, If you're a star and you're an important cog, and plus Vic in the ear, let me tell you something. If Vic Fangio feels that there was too much of a slicing of players last year, you think he's going to let Jordan Davis walk out the building, another guy to fuck his defense up? If he thinks that guy's instrumental in the run defense,
that's what I'm saying. Jordan ain't going anywhere.
Their ass and go, you can't keep losing players and expecting me to make chicken shit into chicken soup here.
Well, that's why I think Jordan Davis isn't going anywhere. I mean, how are you going to keep gutting this thing over and over and over again? Now, the question is going to be, how far do they go? Because I think the biggest thing in Sileo's aisle is not really anything about the player, in my opinion. It's more about the structure of the contracts and the salary cap. Because right now the Eagles are very offensive based. They pay for offense. They have no problem. They pay their offensive line. They pay their skill position guys. They pay their running back. They pay their quarterback. They pay their tight end. They pay everybody. Right now, if you go across the defense, Reed Blankenship's on a cheap deal. Quinyon and Cooper are rookies. Nolan Smith and Jaylen Carter are rookies. Ajomo's a seventh-round draft pick. You got Jalix Hunt, all these guys. The only dude that's paid on defense right now is Zach Bond. That's it.
And Huff.
So how much does it change? It's going to change to some extent because they're not going to let Carter walk. They're not going to let Quinyon or Cooper walk, in my opinion. I don't know. We'll see how it develops over the next 3 years. Maybe only one of those guys stays, in the future. I'm not sure. I think both would stay. But how far do you go? Because then you're going to have to take the philosophy that they deployed right now on defense, which is, again, how many years in a row have we seen now all defense in the first 3 rounds of the draft? I mean, this year we went 5 straight defensive draft picks to start the draft. We didn't take an offensive player till an offensive lineman in the 5th round. So how much does it change? Are they willing to create more moving parts on the offense? The organization obviously values offense. I always bring up what Hugh Douglas says all the time. He always says offense is a priority. Defense is a luxury. That's been their approach. And the biggest pushback is, well, damn, it's worked. Because you could have blew up on this team after letting some of those dudes walk from the 22 defense, right? You could have said, why would you let them walk? You were the 2nd defense in the NFL. You had 70 sacks, and you're letting Hargrave walk. You're letting some of these guys walk. But look at what it's turned into. It got better. So how much does it change is the thing that I'm looking at. And if it changes a lot, maybe that is a good sign for Jordan Davis. If they want to continue that trend of paying offense over defense, it probably doesn't look too good for Jordan Davis.
I am going to show you something that Howie Roseman took out of the Belichick tree of staying relevant and staying competitive in Super Bowl conversations. The New England Patriots for 20 years, when contracts came up for Darrelle Revis, moved off him. When a contract came up for the Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore, moved off him. When they came up to a Hall of Fame defensive lineman, Richard Seymour, moved off him. When they came up with a Hall of Fame player, Randy Moss, his contract came up, moved off him. For you to be competitive in today's NFL because of the salary cap, it's not about just managing it. It's about allocating it. It's about doing all the things that it takes to keep you relevant. Right now, Howie Roseman, because he's making all those tough cuts on the defensive side,
right,
he's keeping you in the game for the next 5 years. They don't want to get rid of Milton. They don't want to get rid of Josh. They don't want to get rid of any of these guys, but they have to. Because you know why?
Milton's going to have very good
You'll
years.
be the Cowboy. It's irrelevant on what he's going to do in New England. He was important in Philly in what he did. By the way, I thought it was a great take by John Moro Jomo. Moro Jomo is a good football player. He's a good third down pass rusher. And I started watching some tape on him. He's not very good against the run. That's not his forte. But 68% of the time, NFL are in nickel. And you're in pass rush, basically 70%.
Yeah.
7 out of every 10 plays, you're in third down.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. And that's where I wonder, what does the organization – we talked about this a little bit, but, what does the organization want? Is the organization look at Jordan Davis right now and they say, we got a great run stopper, and that's all we want him to be. How much do we want to pay for that? Or do they look at it and say, we want to pay Jordan Davis because we value what he is right now to the team, but we also want him to become a 3 or something, you know what I mean? Play more 3. I don't know if they even want that. I think that's where the conversation for how much you pay him is hard to put a number on right now, even for us outside the room, because shit, what does they want? What is Vic saying? Vic might be in Howie's ear saying, dude, I don't need him to play passing downs. And then Howie's probably like, all right, well, I can't give him much more than $15 million.
I'm going to tell you.
Which is still pretty heavy.
I'm going to tell you what Clint Hurts said about what you're talking about. Let me do it right. All right. Do you expect Jaylen Carter to get better?
I do.
Okay. Do you expect him to be potentially the best interior defensive tackle next to the guy up in New York?
Yeah.
You expect him to be like that, Dexter Lawrence?
I expect him to be that and Chris Jones, a combination of the two. He's not Dexter Lawrence. He's not a nose. But I know what you're saying. Yes, that good of a player.
That type of impact.
That impactful, yes.
How much does that bleed over into making Jordan Davis a better player? And how much does he comp him on helping him elevate Jaylen Carter's game too? Okay? Again, this is a defensive line. It's not one guy. If another guy helped, like, do you think that Zach Bond signs that contract if Carter's not in front of him? No way.
No.
If you were, how about this, Zander?
Remember, Bryce Huffle-Schnufflegus is coming off the books this year. So, I mean, I know it doesn't work like this, but you wasted $18 million on him. Transfer that money to Jordan Davis. And then you can keep building.
How Clint looks at it is, how important is Jordan in there being a big body when it comes to Jaylen Carter's development? You want to put a lesser guy in there where there's going to be even more significant double teams on him?
I think that's actually maybe one of the bigger knocks on Jordan right now is that, bro, you got Jaylen Carter who played 99% of the snaps last year and was getting double teamed way more than anybody else. Like, you should be winning. You're big enough, strong enough, fast enough, and good enough to win.
But look at that with the glass half full and go the other side of that. So who are you putting in there if you're going to have that already, that dynamic where you got a bunch of people on his ass already? Who are you going to put in there? Thomas Booker? I mean, bro, you got to look at – hey, look.
Like T-Book?
Hey, no, I do. But, hey, watch this, man. Hey, I think that chick's good looking, but I'll tell you what, it ain't like my old lady. I'm going to kind of hang with the old lady there because I've been with her for 40 years. So I'm going to hang in there, man. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to look at it as a tandem.
I agree.
And they're a tandem in there right now.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a value too, Zander. Dude, you see, you can't just take guys out. You can't here's something that you keep bringing up, John, and you're not wrong. What's your plan at tight end? You don't have right now. The Eagles are on a no plan. And the only plan you hear people saying is this. Well, looks like you're going to bring them back. Well, I don't believe that come June 1. I think that guy's either going to be traded, cut, or he's staying and they got to force to pay in the final year and he's going to walk in. God forbid that guy plays 17.
Signing trade. They're going to do it. They're going to trade.
They're going to trade him. I agree.
They're going to trade him. And then they're going to, if they do trade him, I think I still think there's a possibility they bring him back. But if they do move on from him, I could see how, remember, we have 12 picks next year. We have 3 third-rounders right now, multiple fourths, multiple fifths, I think multiple sixths, and obviously a 1 and a 2. I think you take one of those thirds, maybe one of those fourths, sign, you pick up Michael Mayer, a guy like that. I don't think you can, because look, they didn't draft somebody this year. So the Eagles aren't going to make a move to move on from Dallas Goedert and then have 0 tight ends under contract through next year.
No,
it doesn't work. They don't do that. They don't do business like that. So, if they do move on from Goedert, I think they would only do so knowing that they're going to acquire another guy in a way that I don't think is a 1-year rental like Harrison Bryant and Kylan Granson and even Grant Calcaterra. Now, I'm not a big Grant Calcaterra guy. I know people like him. I'm like not into that dude. Like, I don't like him.
He serves a role. He serves a role. He
can catch the ball. He's a dude. Plus, how many times have you heard Sileo say he's a dude?
Yeah, but I think he's here because Zander. I think he's here because Jaylen likes him, and he had him at Oklahoma.
Does Jaylen like him?
Well, I think so. I mean, why else would he be here?
Yeah, maybe.
I can find 50 guys like him. He's a
Jaylen doesn't
dude.
seem to like to throw the ball to many people outside of AJ and Devontae, if we're being honest. Even Goddard only had 500 yards.
He don't like the
Goddard's
middle
a
left.
damn good tight end.
That guy needs a step stool or a Tokyo phone book to stand on because he can't
Well,
see
hey,
over.
listen, we joke about that. I think that's a real thing.
I do. Hey, I do.
I'm not even criticizing
Drew
Jaylen. I mean,
Drew Brees and Russell Wilson said it was a thing because they weren't the tallest, and that's why they. That's funny, man. They should make Jaylen drop back 9 yards like those other guys did because they felt dropping back more.
yeah,
made them be able to see over the field, but he doesn't have the same pocket presence as those
right,
guys.
that's not his game. Exactly. Jalen's not a pocket guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't, even still to this day, at times, Jaylen looks a little uncomfortable in the pocket because he's been so good at escaping the pocket and making plays and being a playmaker. So at the same time, you'd like to see him be a little better at that, but you don't want to take away what he does really well, which is playmaking outside the pocket. So, I think it's a real thing, though. I mean, Sills, the other part of it is for an average offensive line, it's a thing. Now look at the Eagles' offensive line. 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", 7'4". These dudes are huge, man. Even the dudes they're bringing in now, the new guys they drafted, 6'7", 6'8", and undrafted free agent, 6'8". I'm like, poor Jalen Hurts. Guy's 6 foot.
Hey, they may have a starting 5 bigger than the Sixers. I mean, right? I mean, those guys are tall, dude. I mean, imagine this. The Eagles have a starting 5 taller than the Sixers. I mean, outside of Embiid. All right, let me go here now. What's your favorite draft pick?
Good question. I think it's Ty Robinson.
Okay.
I think this kid's going to be really good. I think he just had, and again, I'm going to keep shouting my boy out, Abe, because he told me about this dude a long time ago, and I totally see what the heck Abe saw in this guy, because you turn on the tape, it's not like he's jumps off the page in terms of athleticism or elite traits or any of those things. I know why he wasn't the first-round draft pick, but sometimes having a will and a want to in life takes you a long way. And when you watch that guy play, he plays so hungry, so aggressive. I think he could be a really, really good player. And the other thing is, I think it's going to help him that he obviously, just like you just said, Jaylen Carter helping out, Jordan Davis. Well, Ty Robinson is going to have that benefit too. All right. Get up there. You're going to be one-on-one. Right now, you're a vicious dude. You make people match your physicality. Don't lose that and prey on some of the offensive lines in the league that, let's be real, aren't all that great. Not many teams have a great offensive line. Now, there are some good ones. You're going to play NFL dudes, but
75%
take
of the
advantage of
league.
that.
75% of the league has okay O-linemen. There's like 5 teams that have great. There's one team that has exceptional, and the Eagles
are big.
It's
it's still a big upgrade or a big increase in competition compared to college, obviously. But I think Ty Robinson is going to be a beast. The one thing I'm curious on him is like how, I know we've talked about how versatile he is. He plays every position on the D line. They even lined him up on the edge sometimes at Nebraska, which is crazy. But I don't think they're going to do that here. But does he have nose versatility? Like, what can he do on that defensive line? To make you be able to move on from somebody else? Is it simply the Milton Williams replacement? Does it make Jordan Davis more expendable? Like, those are some of the things I'm looking to watch on him. And then number 2, from a draft pick perspective, I'm going to go Campbell. I know it's the top pick, but I just think you give a Swiss Army knife like that. Again, I do have questions on this guy. I probably have more questions on him than most of the people listening, because I don't like hearing 2 knees. I don't like hearing 2 shoulders. And the other thing I don't like hearing is you're starting him as an off-ball linebacker, but he's not a Mike. So if he's not going to take Nakobe Dean's spot and he's starting at an off-ball linebacker, that means you're looking to take Zach Vaughn's spot. That's not happening. So right now, as it stands for him, from the way we're hearing it, obviously Vic could throw a wrench into it the way he handles it, but the only way on the field is in sub packages. As a joker, and some of those things I don't like to hear, but I think the versatility of the player is something that Vic Fangio, if it does work out, can really turn into a special thing on this defense. So I'm excited about that aspect of it, but that honestly has a lot to do with Vic Fangio. But the player I do think is special athletically. You don't see many 6'3" guys who move like that, and have that ability to probably become an edge potentially in the league, similar to how Micah Parsons did.
Well, read your supers here in a minute. Please hit the like button.
Oh, so let me send the link to 500. You're good. Keep going. My bad.
Let me ask you something here. If you had the means to do this, if you had the means to invest $100,000 and there was an 85% chance that you could make $1 million off that, would you do that?
Say that one more time.
Okay. If you had the means and you put up $100,000, knowing that there's an 85% chance that you could make $1 million off that, would you do it?
Yeah.
Well, then that's what Jahad Campbell is. That's what Jahad Campbell is.
Right. That's actually a good way to put it.
It's dude, if that guy happens to hit, he's the 10th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's when somebody goes,
guy's going to be on stilts.
Yeah, well, look, you're starting it out with this. Well, the shoulders and the knees. Okay, well, I didn't hear anything about ability. So as long as we're talking about,
it's definitely not an ability thing.
Okay, well then guess what? I start with ability. Because let's be candid here. You drafted Nolan Smith with an injury. You drafted Nakobe Dean with an injury. The Eagles aren't afraid of that. They'll take the risk on that. I mean, get this. At the end of the day, when Nakobe Dean is no longer on this team, I will say this to you about the pick. He was right in it. He just couldn't stay on the field. He was a good player. But the gamble didn't pay off because guess what? His body didn't hold up, and that's what failed him. It wasn't the pick failed. It wasn't his ability that failed. It was just the ability to stay healthy. Dude, I'll take that gamble every day.
Yeah, I agree.
But when you start with this, he can't backpedal. He's not good.
Yeah, right.
Then we're in a different world there where that's a gamble of a pick. That's not a high percentage of success. Like this kid that you guys are talking about. It's funny when I hear this. 5'11", 194. How do you say this kid's name from Texas? I'm hacking it all up to pieces. What's his name?
Makuba. Andrew Makuba.
Makuba. All right. Dude, the reason you get drafted in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th, and 7th round, because I said to you the other day, is the measurables. So when you're playing the way you play in the NFL today, height and weight's not the issue. Production is. Attitude is. This guy's got the same kind of attitude that Gardner Johnson has, except for this. He's not fucking mouthy. And that's what they took. Hey, I didn't like the ACC either back in the day. I'm playing Wake Forest, and I'm playing Duke, and I'm going like this. Hey, I'm not trying to win a debate here. I'm trying to win a football game.
Right.
So I go to Miami. I'm playing Florida, Florida State, Oklahoma. I'm playing big Auburn teams. Dude, I want a challenge. I don't want to be in there playing against librarians. I didn't like the ACC either. And he goes, I don't want to go there. So he goes to Texas. That's a good thing. I like that attitude, man. I think this kid's going to start that safety position.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Rick Saratella talk about that this morning, how he left because he wanted to be pushed harder. That's obviously a good mindset. I mean, look, the questions on that player aren't really football related too. I mean, they're more about the size, and listen.
I'm not. That doesn't worry me.
Yeah, but still, I mean, 5'10" and 180 or whatever the heck it is, 5'10", 190, 5. I know everybody's like, oh, he's 205. No, he's not. All right, no, he's not. I mean, look at the videos of him at the press conference. You lay the wood on the wrong dude, I don't know what's going to happen to that body. So I'm hoping he pans out. I'm pretty high. The people have won me over a little bit on him from a player perspective, but let's see what he can do in terms of getting his body ready to handle the NFL.
Okay. Well, folks, I'm going to show you something here. So, Zander, if your boy Ty Robinson was 6 feet 270, would you have taken him?
No.
Well, that's Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but come on, bro. That's not a good excuse. Aaron Donald is a one-of. Aaron Donald is not the norm.
How'd you know that on draft? Well, you're talking now after the fact. I'm
No.
talking.
No. 6 foot 270 guys as defensive tackles fail far more in the NFL than they become Aaron Donald.
You're going with the Ram Aaron Donald. I'm talking about the Pitt Aaron Donald. Would you have drafted a guy at a Pitt 6 foot in the first round?
You can't say that without the benefit of knowing what Aaron Donald turned into.
You got the hindsight now of knowing what he is.
Yeah, you do, not me.
No, I didn't, because I would take the better player. That's what I'm saying about the measurable. You get caught up in the weeds of the measurable.
I got you. I know what you're saying. You're saying in the premise is take the best football players. You're going to miss some draft picks anyway. Just take the best football pick. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But I don't like the idea of saying if a guy was 6 foot 270, you wouldn't take him because look at what Aaron Donald became. Aaron Donald is a legitimately a one-of-one player.
Okay.
He is a Hall of Fame
Nobody
football
knew
player.
that out of Pitt. Everyone's got the hindsight now after the fact, but when you're drafting, you don't have hindsight.
That can't be your premise for drafting guys.
No shit. That's my point. My point can't be immeasurable. My point has to be production. Like, get this. Watch this. Howie would do this. I'm going to draft a guy 6'5", 345 pounds at D tackle. And his name's Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Aaron Donald is 6 foot 270. Who do you think Howie's drafting? Coming out of college. He ain't drafting Aaron Donald. He's drafting Jordan Davis. If you get stuck on the measurables of the player.
I know what you're saying. You're saying draft good football player. Stop worrying about the bullshit.
That's right. That's right. Don't get caught up in that. Get caught up in is he productive and is he good? That's how I look at guys. Dude, again, take it from a guy taken in a third round. Bro, this much difference.
You were a second-round draft pick.
Well, yeah, now, second round, 56 a second. Look, the difference between that kid going in the 15th pick, how do you say his name?
Makuba. Makuba.
All right.
What are you, brain dead over there? Makuba. Say it. Come on, say it with me, Sills. Makuba.
Well, you know why I don't remember very many names. You got to be a somebody to have.
Come on, Sills. Makuba.
For me to remember, so somebody always goes like this. Hey, you know who he is? I'm like, who? And so the difference between me and a guy going in the first, dude, it's that much. It's 1 inch. If that kid, Makuba, there you go. If he had this much of an in height, he'd have been a 10th player, 15th player taken.
It's true.
But here you guys, he's 5'11", 190. I'm like, who cares, man? Can he play? That's what Vic looks at it. Can he play?
Dude's my size, dude. I'd be looking down on him in a ring. I don't like that. All right? These are football dudes.
I don't like. Oh,
wait, look at B. Flem. He says, Makuba's issue is he looks like Stevie and he needs to look like Sills.
Lay off my dog.
Sileo says, take Stevie.
Take
Stevie because Aaron Donald happened.
Alone, man. My dog's a good little doggy, man. Leave my fucking dog alone.
Oh, man. That's a good one, B. Flem. That's a good one.
All right. Here you go. A couple more here before. Don't forget, Philly 500's at the bottom of the hour.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go here. I'm going to throw this. I was going to save it, but I'm going to do it with you here. Has the rest of the NFC caught up with the Eagles?
I think the best case is clear of the Commanders. I mean, I know I've been saying that I don't think the Commanders are going to be as good this year. I think they're going to take a small step back, but logically speaking, objectively speaking, they are the team, right? They won 12 games last year. They made it to the NFC title game. Instead of losing players, they've added players. They've added 2 tackles, okay, who I think instantly make your football team better. Obviously, you need great offensive line play. You add Deebo Samuel. Again, I'm not a fan of him, but he's better than what they had last year. De'Ami Brown and Alama.
He's a 2. He's the 2, not
right. So you have McLaurin. Right. I mean, I'm not a fan of what they did in the defensive line. I'll say that. I hate that, actually. Got rid of Jonathan Allen to sign Javon Kinlaw. I thought that was a bad move. But overall, they've added players. They added Trey Amos in the draft. You know, I think the Commanders have gotten closer by default on paper because look at what the Eagles happened. You have the number 1 defense in football, and you lose seven dudes or whatever it was, however many dudes left, you know, between Burks and Graham and, Milton and all those guys. Okay. We lost players. They added players. They were in the NFC title game. We were too. They got a little bit closer to us, I would say, but Cowboys, I don't know. I mean, right now I might have to come off my take early, which is crazy to do. I don't think I can do it. You guys would hold me to that. I don't know if I could do it, but I don't know how the Cowboys are going to beat out the Commanders this year. I don't see it, but I know I made that prediction earlier. Cowboys, I think, got better. They had a good draft. They did. The Giants are, depending on what Jackson Dart is. I don't know. I was watching a little Jackson Dart tape. I'll tell you, he's not I think a lot of Eagle fans have kind of written him off as like this stiff. Again, I don't think he's insane, but he's got the chance to be a solid player in the league for sure.
He's better than Shador for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And look at the competition. Look at the competition he played.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
but
I think there's 3 teams.
yeah, Dart's okay. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens in Cleveland in that quarterback room.
I got three teams in the NFC. I got the newly to be crowned NFC East Washington
shut up.
Commanders
Stop.
this year.
This is my show now. Silio's gone. See. Bye, bitch. Bye.
Hey, you paid for it.
Oh, I can't do what Phil does now.
Hey, Washington, the soon-to-be new NFC East champs. I do have the Rams, bro. I mean, I got the Rams there, and I got
think the
Detroit.
Rams gonna be good. Yeah, that's what I got too.
Those
Except
3
Eagles.
teams, right? And then how about we do this? An outlier, Chicago, Dallas. I know you like Minnesota, bro. I'm not on JJ.
I don't like them. I don't like their roster is good.
It's great.
It's very good. The quarterback situation, don't know. But they are a good roster. They are a good roster. I'm with you, though. That's exactly my top teams in the NFC. I just have it ranked a little different. Eagles, obviously, top dog, coming off the Super Bowl. Still got a lot of those guys coming back. 10 out of 11 offensive starters returning, assuming Goedert comes back, and we're in good shape. Then I got the Rams. Then I have the Lions. Then I have Commanders.
I would say Washington, the concerns would be this. Run-stopping defense, which, dude, you automatically make me have to question where you are in the room if you can't stop the run. Hey, dude, I'd rather have a team throw 500 yards on me, and I still can beat you. But if you run the ball for 200 yards on me, I can't beat you. I mean, and the Eagles can do both. Bro, you got to be – if for Washington is going to be back in the NFC title game, Washington has got to be – hey, if you look at the numbers, folks, I think you'd be shocked. Washington was either 3rd or 4th in rushing.
Yeah. Let me ask you something about the Lions. Now, they've been a very impressive team the last couple of years.
Yeah,
they
those
got coordinator
exits bug me.
Let me get there. You got a really good team. They got tons of skill position players, 2 great running backs, 2 great wide receivers, really 3 great wide receivers with Tim Patrick. A great offensive line, arguably in the Eagles' range. I don't think it's better, but I think it's in that range, in the top 5 range. All right. Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph. They got dudes everywhere on that football team. What do you think's going to happen with Jared Goff this year without Ben Johnson? All right, because listen, Jared Goff is a good quarterback. He's an accurate quarterback, but Jared Goff, it's still Jared Goff. And I still worry that guy turns into a pumpkin at any given moment. And Ben Johnson was one of the most creative, best offensive coordinators in football in the last 3 years. Now he's gone. What happens with that guy? Remember what happened to our offense when our offensive coordinator left the first year? And I think Jalen's better than Goff.
Yeah. Look, Jared Goff has shown to me, again, that, he's been probably the most disrespected quarterback in the NFC, because outside of Jalen Hurts and Matt Stafford, there's not another quarterback in the NFC that's more celebrated when it comes to their resumes than him. He's a 4,000-yard passer. He's been to 2 NFC championship games. He's been one with the Lions. He carried the Lions further than anything Matthew Stafford ever did in Detroit. He had Megatron. I mean, there's no Megatron right now in Detroit. I'm not saying Brown is a good player. That's not Megatron. So, I mean, Goff, when I look at Jared Goff, is there a ceiling? You know what I see with him? I see a guy that's kind of like a better version of Kirk Cousins, because he wins. Okay, that's how I see him.
I like that. A better version of Kirk, I think, is a good thing. I see a lot of Darnold, and that's where I struggle. Okay, that's where I struggle.
This guy's won way more and done more.
Yeah, he's better than Darnold. I know he is. He's better than Darnold.
So
somebody says, why did I say they have 3 great receivers? Well, they do have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Tim Patrick, who I like. Tim Patrick. Maybe he's not great in your eyes, but he's still good. And they did sign that. They did draft that kid, the Tesla kid, too. It was not bad. So,
and they got a good tight end.
Yeah, they got a good tight end. What's that dude's name? Laporta. Laporta.
From Iowa.
Laporta. Yeah. Good player.
So Johnny Morton is a new offensive coordinator. He was 2 years up in
who?
Johnny Morton.
Who?
He was the guy that was the offensive coordinator in Denver for Bo Nix, who
What do you mean offensive coordinator?
He was the offensive coordinator in Denver. Johnny Morton was the offensive coordinator for Bo Nix.
And then how did he become the offensive coordinator in Detroit?
Because they named the assistant head coach. Wasn't just a lateral move.
That's a little trick that teams use.
It is a trick.
Assistant head coach. Bet you ain't the assistant head coach.
He's not. 29.
This bork. Senorita. Shut up.
29 touchdowns. Third most completions in the league at 376 for a rookie quarterback in NFL history. It's his 23rd year in the league. I know, John. Includes he was offensive coordinator for the Saints with Drew Brees. That's where the relationship with Sean Payton was. He was also in San Francisco. He's the wide receiver coach back in the day when the receivers were there. He's a former player himself. He's been in the league about 25 years. So he's an experienced guy. He's a respected guy. Still, is he a creative guy? That'll be the big issue is he going to be as creative. Now,
I feel like he's gotten enough good tape from the last 2 years. Like, bro, just do similar things. You got to get the ball out of Jared Goff's hands quickly.
Yeah, but again, for me, you can have the same playbook. But when, Zander, reading the Bible and reading a playbook are a lot like. You can interpret it any way you want.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what a playbook is. So an offensive coordinator could see something in a particular situation on 3rd and 6, and he sees something completely different than what Kellen Moore saw. That's really knowing your personnel, too, and getting a chance to understand your personnel. That's where I think the relationship is going to be an issue up in Detroit. How long do you have to get to know these players? I'll tell you one thing Kellen Moore did right away. Man, I'll tell you, what do you think was the most significant thing last year that was the result of winning that Super Bowl? Man, that bye was in the right time. Man, that bye, everyone was saying it should have been later. No way. They addressed the problem. They reinvented themselves coming out of that bye, and they never looked back. Dude, they absolutely did a self-awareness and a
I'm surprised you didn't take a chance there on a big Sills. There was a big opening for you there.
But I can't because they lost one ball game after.
Well, I thought you were going to say they took the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands.
Well, they did.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Well, but hey, Sills, what happened? Well, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, they had Saquon
one ball game.
Yeah, agreed.
They lost one ball game with Hurts. Did Hurts lose any games as a player?
Last year?
He lost after the
bye. No. Okay. The only game they lost after the bye was when he got hurt in the first quarter.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, they reassessed it. That bye, dude, that bye was in the right spot at the right time. They were 2-2, and it turned absolutely, man. It turned it all around because you know why? They made sure that they did the most important thing. They put it into the MVP's hand. They made sure they put it into Saquon Barkley's hand. That's what they did.
Well, got Saquon Barkley, man. I mean, shit. What did you want to sign Saquon Barkley and use him like he was Miles Sanders?
No, about time somebody used him, right? Because the Giants didn't.
Well, the Giants don't have the personnel or the team to do it.
Well, that's a failure on construction of a team. That's on them.
No doubt.
Hey, watch this after the fact. Like John says, after the fact. Well, he wasn't the right. Well, fuck. Okay. Well, who does the GM?
Did the Commanders get a running back this year or no? This offseason? Because I thought they could have used one. I like Brian Robinson.
They need to improve their run game.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go for one.
Yeah, but they're third because of the quarterback, and that's going to be the downfall. Yeah. You can't have him run the – because I'll tell you, like I said, every time I play Washington, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit the shit out of that guy. Robinson's not going to be enough.
Did they take a running back? They did. Oh, they took one in the round 7.
Oh, shit.
That's not gonna do shit.
He's a baggage handler working over at Reagan.
They took the receiver in the 4th. They took Jalen Lane.
Well, the running back they took in the 7th, he'll be working at Reagan International by the end of the year.
Ja'Cory Krause Merritt.
Yeah, what about sure, that'll work? Didn't they sign anybody?
I don't think so.
They need a running back in that building, man.
Well, they got Brian Robinson. They got who else do they have? Let me look. What do they got at running back?
The running attack.
Eckler? Brian
I
Robinson.
like him. Austin Eckler's a good ball player, man.
Yeah, he is, but he's getting older. I mean, you know.
Yep.
Brian Robinson's a good player.
He is. Is he a Bama kid? Really is that Robinson kid a Bama kid?
Yeah. I love his story, man. He was, I believe, actually, I might be conflating him with JAKIB. If I'm not mistaken, he was like a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. He waited his turn at Bama and then played his senior year, and then he's had a good career there. So no, I thought they were going to go for a big running back this year, but they weren't really in position to do it, so they didn't. But we'll see what happens.
I always got pissed off at that star shit. I was a 3, and I'm like, I'm a 5. Guy goes, no, you're not a 5 because you're not 6'5". And I said, I don't give a fuck. That's why I'm against measurables, dude. And I one of the reasons, man, I came out of high school. He goes, you're a 3-star because I made the Adidas All-American team, and I got a chance of playing that Big 33 game. You know that goes on in PA.
Yeah.
And so I'm like this. I go, no, I'm a 5. The guy goes, no, you're a 3. And I go, I'm not a fucking 3. 3? I'll tell you what, Junior. You wait and you see me when I'm waving at you when I go by with my national title ring on. I was so – that pissed me off like nobody's business, man. And I remember telling Jerry Fouts at the end when we kicked his ass 57-7, I looked at him and I go, 3-star. What happened? 3-star. Hey, by the way, have a nice retirement. I made up with the guy after.
It all makes sense now. Makes sense.
Totally. Notre Dame thought I was a fucking 3-star. Pissed the shit out of me, man. Oh, my God. Hey, to this day, it made it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, to your credit, they're not always right, you know, and that's.
No, they're not. And hey, 3. Oh, man, I used to. Jerome was a 5, of course. Jerome used to always go like this. Hey, 3 man. I'd be like, fuck you, man. I hate
Yeah, so are you upset that you didn't think of the nickname Vanilla Gorilla when you played?
Nah. What did they call? Oh, they called me House. My nickname was House. I was built like a house.
Who else had a nickname like that? No, who's the running back who was the fridge? Who was the fridge? The running back. And the Pittsburgh guy. What's that guy's name?
Oh, Jerome Bettis, the bus.
Yeah, Jerome Bettis. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when you said House. That's what I was thinking of.
They called me House.
Is pretty good.
Yeah, Jerome would call me House. Come here, House.
So that's cool and all. That ain't no Vanilla Gorilla.
No. This guy here. I don't know if I could get away with Vanilla Gorilla, me being who I am. Anyway.
Is that what it was? Was it the bus?
Yeah, Jerome Bettis was the bus.
Who was I thought there was a fridge.
Yeah, William Perry, who was a defensive tackle, and they ran him as a
yeah, that's what it was.
They ran him as a running back in Chicago.
All right, I mixed them up. Thank you, Charlie Swift.
Yeah. Let's get to these supers. We got 500 coming around the corner.
All right, here we go. Let's do it.
3-star bullshit.
Top 5 says it's going to be a good season, boys. Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah, we'll see what that defense
Top
looks
5, lock in, brother. Jalen's about to win an MVP.
John McMullen says you're going to finish 28th.
John McMullen also said Saquon Barkley was going to have a big impact on the team. That take might be worse than anything I've heard from you in the last couple of years. Prince Swayze says his name is Andrew Makuba, but Sills mistakenly read it as Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. Prince, you got to be kidding me, man.
That's a superstar.
Yo, Prince, that's foul, bro.
Hey, Prince, that's a superstar right there. That's
Hakuna Matata. Andrew Makuba. Hakuna Matata. That's great. Makuba's issue is he looks like Stevie, and he needs to look like a
Leave my Stevie alone, you son of a bees.
Stevie's what, 18 pounds tops?
I don't know, man. He eats a lot of prosciutto. So all I know is Stevie's a big prosciutto. Stevie's a big prosciutto eater.
Nothing better. Rescue a dog and treat him, and he basically takes over the house. Nothing.
Let me tell you this, man. I'll tell you, he can sit in a chair like I can, wide angle.
There you go. JD3 says you get 25 mil when you have a ring and a better win percentage than Lombardi. Elite.
Yeah. I tell you what. Hey, Nick, go take the trash out. I got to talk to Stoutland and Vic. Go take the trash out.
Sills and Zander. I remember another player a long time ago who had knee issues coming out of college. That player was Thurman Thomas. Good pull.
It's why he went in the second round, Kyle.
Yeah.
Right, at Oklahoma State.
Good pull, Kokorski.
Yep.
Pump checking in.
Here's Pump.
I would like Ty Robinson, but Buddy is pre-med. Sounds like he has 1 foot out the door after getting hired. I want guys who eat, sleep, drink football.
Wait a minute.
He's pre-med.
He's pre-med. Oh my God. How could you be the Magilla Gorilla? And how could you be that? And you're a pre-med guy. How could your nickname be Magilla Gorilla and you're a pre-med guy wanting to
Vanilla
be a
Gorilla.
What is it? Vanilla.
I ordered
Vanilla.
you a shirt.
Hey, how can you be a football player and you're a pre-med guy? Because you got to worry about your noggin. When you play football, you ain't worried about shit.
Yeah, I hear you.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but you only play football till you're 30 something years old. I don't got a problem with doing, making something happen.
Yeah, that's what I want. A guy. How long did you play football? 12 years. What are you now? I'm a brain surgeon. Yeah, I don't know.
He's not going to be a brain surgeon. Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Good night, dude.
Oh,
Kimbo
man.
checking in. Need to hold on to Goedert for blocking in the run game.
Bro, I don't know, man.
I think Goddard might be back.
See, man, look at you keep wishing that to happen and wishing that to be true.
Well, I just think they would have done something a little bit differently if the plan was to get rid of him.
I agree. And in draft.
I mean, every other position. I mean, there's how many? There's 22 starting positions on the team. Every other position they've gotten a contingency in place. They don't have one for Goddard.
Yeah, ask yourself this: does that sound like something that Howie would do? Is not be ready on something? You know what I'm saying? That just doesn't make sense. I mean, this guy's got an answer for everything. By the way, that interview with Rich Eisen and him, hey, I thought he was being interrogated and he wanted to give up his social security number and that he was like he was in a concentration camp. Howie Roseman did an interview.
Oh yeah, him and Rich are boys.
Hey, but when I listened to the interview, I thought he was he was at the Hanoi Hilton and his plane went down over Vietnam. And they were asking him questions.
Well, I mean, Rich was asking him to tell him, where are you going to take Shador? It's like, what's he going to tell you? Yes? No, that's stupid.
Yeah, but it was everything, though. Yeah, we said, what about the player? He's got bad, he's
dude,
got
that's
some
Bob
question
Lang.
mark.
Why do you think Bob Lang hates this show, dude? He is so worried and focused on narratives and what people say, even from inside, outside, everything. That's the organization. I mean, that's fine. They're protecting their $1 billion entity. But yeah, Howie doesn't say shit. Nothing. Bob Brown checking in. What up, Bob? Thank you for the super, brother. Stills, it's not the money with Davis. It's the cap allocation for a non-premium position. Signing bonus plus guaranteed versus bonus money plus void years to keep cap number lower. So, Bob, let me ask you, Bob, is stopping the run not premium, Bob? It's a premium position.
It is. But the question will come down is, hey, Vic, can you get that with another player at a cheaper price? Can you do that? Because again, he's a one-dimensional. He's not a Swiss Army knife like everyone else on that line.
This is for Brian Pumper. You got to go Apuna Ford. He's not a big fan. Let's go, Emre. Sills, the Eagles are redefining the game. Got to hit in preseason. Dual threats don't win Super Bowls. Head coaches need to do this. Rookies perform. Future is now. Oh, man. You old geezer.
That's right, Emre. You're going to pay a guy $25 million a year, and he's the fifth most important guy in the building. How you doing?
This is where Bob might be right. Bob says, hey, Zander, stopping the run is premium, but nose tackle is not. It's fair, but the nose tackle stops the run. So how do you conflate the two? Got to find the happy medium, I guess. Devin says, Nick's greatest ability, coffee runs for Howie. Oh, Devin, you sound like Abe.
Hey, Devin, and picking Saturday night's movie for the team.
You sound like Abe. Every good pick Abe has, he's also got one on the other side of the spectrum. That's the worst pick you'll ever hear. He thinks Nick Sirianni doesn't do shit. Devin sounds like Abe right here.
He parks cars, Novacare.
Abe, I love you, brother. All right, man. I'll see you guys. Good segment, Sills. I appreciate you, brother.
You got it, man. Thank you very much, Zander. Big Z, make sure you check him out with John McMullen on Birds 365. So we're going to do this. Hold on here now. We're going to do this same test here for my boy, Philly 500 here. Hang on here. Let me get. Oh, here we go. Okay. Without further ado, he's redefined it now. By the way, his name is Champion 500.